you guys, I just wanted to take a second and help you with a few of the questions that you are going to see on your ALEKS assignment, the ones that I know are going to be tricky for you. So this is question number 4. Your question number 4 should look similar to this. So on the piece of paper that I gave you, I want you to write this question, and then I want you to show me all of the work for this. And then once you've got these 3 examples done on your paper, you'll bring it back to me, and then I will put in your password for your ALEKS assignment. So when you have an equation that looks like this 7x divided by 6, the way that I want you to think about this is think about that 7 over 6 being the coefficient. So another way to write 7x over 6 is 7/6 times by x. And then we're going to have plus 3 equal to, and then when we talk about the 5x divided by 4, another way that we can write that so that it will be easier for us to understand what's happening in the equation is make that 5/4 the coefficient of the x. Okay, now the next thing you're going to do is we need to solve this equation, and we want to collect. We don't have anything to simplify on the left side. We don't have anything to simplify on the right side. So we want to collect the 2 variable terms. So see how the 5/4 times by x, that term has a variable, and then the 7/6 times by x, that term has a variable. So we want to get those on the same side. Now I want all of my variable terms on the left, my numbers on the right. So I'm just going to make a little note. I want variables on this side. I want numbers on this side. Okay. So I don't want variable terms on the right side, I want those on the left. So to get rid of a 5/4 x, to make that cancel out, I'm going to subtract 5/4. I also need to do that on the other side. Okay, now when I write down what I have left on the right side, it's super important that you remember that what you have left is 0. You have to write the 0 down. Okay, and then we have our positive 3. And then when we do 7/6 minus 5/4, we get a negative 1/12. So negative 1/12 x, which means negative 1/12 times by x. Now at this step right here, remember that our whole goal is to isolate this variable. We want the x to be by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by negative 1/12, and then 3 is being added to it. So if I want this right here to be by itself, the first thing I have to do is I have to get rid of this plus 3. Okay, so I'm first going to isolate the variable term. So I'm going to minus 3 from both sides. So negative 1/12 times by x is equal to a negative 3. And then this x is being multiplied by negative 1/12. So I'm going to divide by negative 1/12. I'm going to divide the other side by negative 1/12. And the order that you put this in your calculator matters, because when you divide fractions, you're really going to flip the other one over. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So when you put this in your calculator, you're going to first put in the negative 3, then divided by, then the negative 1/12, and that will leave you a final answer of x equals positive 36. Okay, next question. Now, I know that I did an example for this the other day, but remember, when you see an equation that looks like this, I want you to make this a group, because it really is a group. We can't do anything with this 2x plus 19 because they're grouped together. So add the parentheses, and then after you've added the parentheses, the next thing that you need to do is you need to get rid of this divided by 5. Okay, so let me write this over here. 3 equals, we have this group of 2x plus 19, and then divided by 5. Remember, when we're solving, we follow the reverse order of operations, right? So we get rid of this, addition, subtraction, then multiplication, division, then exponents, and then the last thing we take care of is anything that's in a group. Okay, so we're going to multiply by 5. So this divided by 5 and multiply by 5, that cancels to a 1. Okay, then we have our 3 is equal to now we can take care of what's inside the group. Okay, so we're solving this equation. Here's our variable. We want to isolate it. We first need to isolate this term. We want the 2 times x to be alone. So we're going to get rid of the plus 19 by minusing 19 from both sides. We're going to pay careful attention to getting our signs correct when we're adding integers. And then to get rid of a multiplication of 2, we use division. So negative 8 equals x. Another way to write this as x equals negative 8. Okay. Last question that we are going to do is a variable on both sides equation with fractions. Okay, so I want to review really quickly the steps for solving a variable on both sides equation. Remember that it's just a process and we have to follow the exact process in the exact order to be able to come up with the right end result. So first thing you do is we're going to simplify the left side. So this is my right side, this is my left side. We can see on our left side there is no distributing to do, there's no like terms. So then we're going to move to our next step, which is to simplify the right side. Okay, nothing to simplify. Third step we're going to do is we're going to collect our variable terms. And remember, you can do this on either side, but for the purpose of this class and us doing it all the same, we are going to always collect our variable terms on the left. Meaning this is going to be the side where we want the variable terms, this is going to be the side where we want the number terms. Okay, so next thing that we do to collect the variable terms on the left is we have this negative 5/2 v, and this is a variable term. We don't want this on the number side, so we're going to cancel it off the number side by doing a positive 5/2 v. So over here, positive 5/2 v. Okay, now let's write down what we have left, which is negative 9/2 v, and then we have our positive 2/3, and then remember we have to keep our equal sign right where it is. And then over here on the right side, don't forget that there is a subtraction sign in front of that 5/2, so we have to bring that down as negative 5/2. Okay, next step is collect the number terms on the right. Okay. So when we look at this equation, we have a variable term here, right? We want to isolate this variable term. We do not want this number on the variable term side. So to get rid of that 2/3, we're going to subtract 2/3 from both sides. And that leaves us with a negative 19/6. And so now we have a negative 9/2 times by v equals a negative 19/6, and then our very last step is to get rid of the coefficient of the variable. So this v is being multiplied by negative 9/2. So I'm going to divide by negative 9/2. I'm going to divide the other side by negative 9/2. It absolutely 100% does matter which one goes in the calculator first. So this one goes in the calculator first. So you're going to do negative 9/16. And then by hand, this would be times by negative 2/9. That's why it matters which one goes in the calculator first, because when you're dividing fractions, it's always the second fraction that we flip. Okay, so that leaves us with positive 19/27. Okay. Okay, so now I need you to bring your notes paper back to me and show me that you did your notes, these 3 example questions. Bring me your Chromebook also, and I will put in the password for the solving equations with fractions ALEKS assignment for you to work on.